Hello, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Ismail. I'm the chair of this session. Our session is on the impact of debate on critical thinking and language learning. And we have 4 speakers here with us today. Each presentation will be about 12 to 15 minutes, and then we will take questions once everyone has had a chance to present. So if you have your questions, go ahead and write them down, and we'll have a question period at the end. So our first speaker today is Mohammed Hamdan from Darul Huda Islamic University in India. Yeah, Muhammad, please go ahead. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Close your eyes for a moment and picture a classroom. One side of the room is silent. Students are copying notes. The other side is very energetic. Students arguing passionately, challenging each other's ideas, and defending their values. Now, ask yourself, which side is really teaching to think? That's the question my research tried to answer. I came from a background where manthiq or Islamic logic is considered as a foundational subject, such like the system. We will call that in our mother tongue Otupalli or Dars. In Dars, the teachers will loudly talk or read something, a textual, the kitab, the book, and say the meaning in our mother tongue and the definition. We have always been taught to memorize, to listen, to follow. But what if that's not enough? For today's world, what if manthiq needs not just a tradition, but transformation? In Islamic heritage, from the debates of Ibn Sina al-Ghazali to the Prophet's own method of dialogue, reasoning were central. So I asked, is debate better method to teach manthiq than traditional classroom teaching? So let me show you what I found. Let me begin the Quranic verse. Udu ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati wal mau'izati al hasana wajadilukum billati hiya ahsan. Inna rabbaka huwa a'lamu biman dhalla an sabilihi wa huwa a'lamu bil muhtadin. Invite all to the way of your Lord with wisdom and kind advice, and only debate with them in the best manner. Surely your Lord alone knows best who has strayed from his way and who is rightly guided. So the Holy Quran emphasizes the importance of debate and understanding something. So this research explores how debate-based teaching compares with non-debate method in developing critical thinking skills among students learning at Darul Falah, affiliated to Darul Huda Islamic University, and traditional Islamic education, especially their system, often relies on memorization and lectures. But in a world full of complex arguments and logic, critical thinking is essential, especially in subject like manthiq. We are studying qiyas, tasdeeq, tasawwur, and such like definite subject. Especially it's needed for debate and argument and analyzing and reasoning. So objective is that to measure and compare the critical thinking improvement in 2 groups, one taught using debate and one using non-debate method. It's also an empirical research. The methodology is that we can say the methodology a mixed empirical method, both quantitative and qualitative. That participants were 60 students at my college, and group A debate method 30 students included, and group B debate method, non-debate method 30 students, and 10 teachers were interviewed, and teaching duration is 4 weeks, and assessment is that pre-test and post-test using standardized critical thinking test covering that I used such things, concepts in tasawwur, tasdeeq, and qiyas and fallacies. And I used the tools classroom observation, student interviews, statistical analysis for that. And the result is that we can methodology is that, and the result is very effective that debate group have improved 25 percentage, I think 25 percentage improvement, and non-debate method only 50 percentage. Yeah, engagement in debate group has had 90 percentage active participation. They have actively participated in the debate in the classroom, while non-debate method, then the skill developed through debate method is faster thinking and better argumentation, public speaking confidence. They have gained the confidence of public speaking. And I feedback that, and the students have said that I learned to see problems from both sides, said one student. And another student said I feel more involved in my learning, said another. And that why debate works, we can say encourage dialogue, not silence, stimulates real life reasoning and not memorization, builds logic, clarity, and teamwork. Debate will encourage teamwork and team collaboration. So, and what non-debate method does well? Non-debate method is good for building basic theoretical framework. We have, I think, we the theoretical support of this paper is Bloom's taxonomy and Cobb's learning circle. And when you are saying that what is Bloom's taxonomy, we can say Bloom's taxonomy is a classification of different levels of thinking and learning objectives developed by Benjamin Bloom in 1956. We can say an example that in Bloom's taxonomy, remember, we can say in remember and level, the levels of Bloom's taxonomy is remember, then understand and applying, then analyze, then evaluate and create. So we can say that name any as remember, name the three parts of chaos, then as understand that explain that tasawwur means, what is tasawwur means, and what is chaos, that is understanding. And we can applying is that use a logical rule in a real life example. That is Bloom's taxonomy. And Kolb's learning cycle is developed by David Kolb, explains how people learn from experience in for repeating stage in experiencing, and the debate is also a method of experiencing. We are experiencing from by our teamwork. So his concrete experience and reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. We can say participating in a class debate and thinking about what when will your argument and understanding where your logic fail or succeed. It's Cobb's learning taxonomy. And when we are going to that, here I can say it's my personal experience that I and my friends used to debate or argue on a subject like contemporary subjects, not related with manthiq. When you are debating or arguing the in contemporary issues or statement, we'll understand that it helped me to evaluate all statement before believing it at first time. We will get evidence and through tough all aspects of we will touch all aspects of a subject or a matter. It improved our reasoning skill and critical thinking. So I can question anyone, anything. I will not believe at first time. So debate is good, and argumentation. We can say also discussion method. We can implement in a classroom where nowadays in some part of our my hometown there is some educational institution. They are only lecturing. They are not allowing participating students in the classroom. So they are not actively engaging in classroom. They are only the teacher will lecture the classroom, then they will memorize that. So I think it want to be changed, and my recommendation will also follow that. And the recommendation is that integrate debate into the curriculum. In as here I took manthiq, like here we will speak about qiyas, analogy, and tasawwur, tasdeeq, such concepts in manthiq. but we can implement for further studies, like in ilmul kalam we can implement. It's a very effective way in ilmul kalam, implementing debate method. And philosophy, it's also good, also good for implementing this debate method in another aspects and another area than manthiq. then then blended learning, we want to be introduce combine lectures plus debate, teach theory first, then apply through structured debates. When you are looking at an example is, when you are saying that qiyas, what is qiyas, then explain its analogy and comparing with ijma, hadith and Quran. Then we want to practice that at the classroom. I can say that at last 15 minutes of a classroom or a class period, we can change into a debate method or discussion method. That teacher want to be moderate, and students differentiating their two teams for debate methods, and discussing will improve their critical and that theoretical knowledge. So, and a teacher training, train Islamic educators in debate, moderation, logical structuring. And topic suggestion is that, is qiyas sharti stronger than istinai, or such like subject and topic. We want to put the topic, is qiyas sharti stronger than istinai, and two teams want to be take a subject and discuss. It has implemented in my classroom some other than manthiq subject. In my classroom, an English teacher, he implemented debate to improve our language skill, not reasoning skill. So we can implement this debate in manthiq class and ilmul kalam class, philosophy class, to improve our reasoning skill. Okay. Then another is that track long-term benefits. Study how debate affects student thinking beyond the classroom into real life. As a conclusion, in a time where information is everywhere, the ability to think clearly and argue wisely is real education. This study proves that debate-based teaching methods develop sharper minds, faster logic, and deeper understanding, especially in manthiq subject. We have, while lectures are good for learning facts, debate brings those facts into life. When students debate, they don't just learn, they learn how to learn. And that's why true education is. So let's not just fill classroom with silence and notes. Let's fill them with argument, logic, collaboration, and critical thinking. Let's teach not just for exam, but for life. That's the true power of debate in education, especially in manthiq. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Muhammed. Our next speaker is Mizan Binti Muhammed from the International Islamic University in Malaysia, working at the Center for Foundation Studies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Elizabeth, for the introduction. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon, I bid to all members who are in this hall. So, before I proceed sharing with you, my whole intention of coming to this conference is basically to share with you the teaching methodology that we have adopted so far in our center, as a new approach to a dialogic teaching methodology. So a little bit of an introduction before I delve more into that. The background of this study is actually I am teaching I'm teaching law students who are doing their foundation programs, and there are 200 students altogether, involving 4 instructors to teach these 200 students. So one of the courses that the students have to fulfill in order for them to complete their foundation in law program is they have to complete a subject called legal skills course. And one of the aspects of the legal skills course is that they have to be able to acquire argumentative speech skill, which has been designed to prepare them with the necessary academic skills for them to do their law program later on in their undergraduate program. So when we, the 4 instructors, were planning our lessons and discussing on what is the best approach that we can use to teach our students argumentation and to teach them argumentative skill, and at the same time being able to deliver their speech, their argumentative speech. So we were considering a few options, and we thought that all of us at that very point of time had this commonality in terms of our exposure to debate. So and of course, as instructors, you are exposed to many other teaching methodology. Like dialogic teaching has been one of the most most used teaching methodology in encouraging dialogues among students. But many times than not, when we do dialogic teaching, especially if you use the traditional approach of Socratic questioning, for example, you might end up having, posing questions to your students and receiving only the blank stares. Or even worse, they were scrolling their phone, not knowing what to answer. And you ended up answering the questions yourself. Have you ever experienced that? So we were thinking, how can we get them engaged and how can we get them speak? So that's when we decided to introduce debate. But also, we consider in the status quo, the debate formats that we have can be quite intimidating, especially for beginners levels. Like if we were to look at the debate formats that are, usually used in competitions, whether it's the Asian parliamentary style or British parliamentary style, it requires a lot of things for the students to do in that 7 minutes, because usually it's between 7 to 8 minutes speech, right, that the students have to deliver. And they have to do a lot of things in that 7 minutes. Not only that they have to present their arguments, but they also have to present the rebuttals to the argument. And they also have to accept points of information and immediately respond to that points of information. For beginners who never had any experience in debating, that can be very overwhelming. So that was when we were thinking, like, what can we do to reduce this intimidation that exists in the current format, but still we can achieve the same objective. That is, to encourage students to think, to encourage them to involve in the argumentation, and at the same time have this confidence to deliver their speech. So that's where we come up with this idea of flip debate. But before that, let's just look at the dialogic teaching in general. We all know dialogic teaching is a methodology in which lecturers or instructor have a dialogue with the students through the process of questioning. And many times than not, the questioning would be initiated by the instructor, and that the students will continue with giving the answers, and then it continue with another set of questions until the knowledge is constructed through that process of questioning and answering. So if we would look at the framework of dialogic teaching, we can see that these are the 5 processes that usually exist, whether you are using the Socratic questioning or whether you're using exploratory talk or dialogic teaching frameworks. Usually it stems on these 5 elements. in which we have the questioning session, and then because of the questioning, that leads to supposedly engagement by the audience members, followed by responses coming from them, and that will allow for connecting of ideas, because that responses supposedly encourage for contribution of different ideas from the different audience. And that after the connecting of ideas happen, this is where the learning scaffolded. So, and the process goes on and on. So this is the dialogic teaching in general. How is it flipped debate match the properties of dialogic teaching? So let me just first introduce to you what is flipped debate all about. If you're familiar with the British parliamentary debate style, where we have 4 debate teams in one debate session with 2 debaters in each team, we can see that usually the speaking order in the whether it's a British parliamentary or Asian parliamentary, usually is a zigzag, right? The speaking order. So the first speaker followed by the other speaker from the other side, and then it goes back to the proposition side, and it goes back to the opposition side, in which each speaker will have to do, among others, present the argument, present the rebuttals, and present their responses to the POI, all in one speech. So this is where the twist come in. So instead of having one speaker to do all those things, we decided to have still 2 speakers on each side, or on one team. And there are 2 sides, the proposition side and the opposition side. Or rather, in this context, we use the word affirmative and negative side. Either way, it's the same thing. So the order of speaking is that the first speaker of the affirmative will stand up and present only the arguments, or rather only the constructive argument for their team. And that will be responded in the form of rebuttals from the other side on the negative. And that second speaker will be presenting only rebuttals to the argument that was presented by the first speaker. So for the opposition, the constructive contribution will come from the second speaker. So imagine the letter S, but in the flip position. So the speaking order will be, instead of a zigzag, it will be an S like that. So that method that we are approaching here reduces a few things. Number 1, in terms of the role of each speaker. So instead of them having to give everything, the constructive argument as well as rebuttals in one speech, they have a very specific task. After all, each speaker will have to speak only for 3 minutes. So that's supposedly enough for them to deliver one solid argument or one solid rebuttal to the argument that they have to respond to. So in terms of the speaking order, as you can see, we have, I'm not sure whether that's visible enough to those at the back, but yeah, just imagine the word S in a flip position. Then you can imagine the speaking order. All right? So that's in terms of the roles and the speaking order. And then these students will be given a 5 minutes preparation time. And for that 15 minutes preparation time, because we consider that our audience are all beginners and they don't really have much exposure to what we can say new knowledge, this is where we supplemented each team with a debate stimulus related to the motion that we assign to that particular debate session. So this debate stimulus are basically sort of a fact sheet that we give to them as to supplement them with the necessary information, basic information, not in the form of arguments, but facts and figures and data so that they can construct the argument based on this data. After all, they have only 15 minutes to do the preparation. However, they are also getting an advantage of the fact that because in one class, there are about 20 to 25 students altogether. So that means there are about another 13 to 15 people who are not debating when the 8 students are debating. So the rest of the students who are not debating will be involved in the process of the preparation to contribute to contribute and assist their friends who are debating to construct the necessary arguments. Okay, and then after that they will deliver the 3-minute speech. And we require for this 3-minute speech to follow the Tolman model of argumentation. However, we don't impose all the elements of the Tolman model because, again, we consider them as beginners to the argumentation. So we selected only the core elements of argumentation in which we focus on the claim, on the warrant, and on the backing, or rather the evidences, and also the rebuttals. These are the 4 elements that need to be present in the debate. And on top of this argumentation model, during each speech, the students are also required, or it was made compulsory for the student to accept at least 1 point of information. So this 1 point of information is usually coming from the other side of the debate, who are not speaking, and they have to ask questions. So the questioning session that you can see happen in dialogic method exists through the process of POI in a flip debate. Okay, although of course it's not exactly similar in terms of the process that you can see through the dialogic method, but the element or the property of questioning still exists within our framework of flip debate. And the students have to answer immediately to the points of information that is accepted. And on top of that, at the end of the debate, the team, each team will also have to come up with the debate notes, and that in the debate notes they must record the argument that was presented according to the Tolman model just now, and also the rebuttal that was presented, and the POI that was accepted throughout the speech. So this is basically how we implemented the flip debate methodology. So in comparison to dialogic methodology, in case you're wondering, is this really a dialogic method? I wouldn't say that this exactly a dialogic method, but why we are saying that this is an alternative or a new approach to dialogic teaching is because we believe that what we have in the flip debate, all the properties that we have in the flip debate have shared similarities to the properties of dialogic teaching. So at the end of the day, how do we actually then assess the success of this flip debate method? So we actually employed survey questions to the students. However, these survey questions, mind you, the limitation of our survey questions is that it was first and foremost self-constructed. The items were self-constructed. That's because we wanted to evaluate whether the implementation of the flip debate necessarily achieved the learning outcome of the course itself. So we designed the questions specifically to see whether we have achieved the learning outcome. And what is the learning outcome that we're looking at? We were looking at the ability of the students to deliver argumentative speech. And therefore, again, I'm sorry it's too small for you to see, but let me read the 6th construct. Oh, even I can't see it from here. So the sixth construct of the questions that we ask is number one, the construct of critical thinking, where we ask the students whether the debate practices and assessment enhance their critical thinking skills. Something that I didn't mention to you, at the very beginning of the course or of the semester, the students are given a workshop. We conducted a workshop on debating and argumentation and continuous debate practices in every class. So every instructor needs to spend about 10 to 15 minutes having a practice session with the students, a simple argumentation session, activities that they have to conduct. And then the second construct was on the engagement. The question was whether the debate practices and assessment provide me an engaging learning experience. Number three, the construct on classroom inclusivity, whether the debate practices and assessment create a positive classroom culture such as respect differences of opinion. Number four, construct on the communication efficacy, whether the debate practices and assessment has improved my confidence level and public speaking skills. The fifth construct focuses on adaptive receptivity, where the question was whether the debate practices and assessment encourage me to be versatile, adaptive, and receptive of the opposing or differing views presented by other people. And finally, in terms of the participation intention, we ask whether if there is any other opportunity to debate, would you like to do it again? And the outcome of this survey was quite encouraging, although of course out of that 200 students, because all the 200 students have to participate, they didn't have the option of, I don't want to debate. All of them, whether you like it or not, you have to do it, because at the end of the semester they will be assessed. Like the debate, there will be an actual debate session towards the end of the semester where assessment is made and marks are given to their debate presentation as well as the debate notes that they prepared. So, but somehow we found, although at first we were a bit worried or rather skeptical in terms of their reception towards this methodology, but somehow the response that we received from the survey was quite encouraging. That you can see here for all the questions from question 1 until question 6, you can see that the minimum and the maximum, the difference was between 3 and 4. That indicates a very positive responses coming from the audience. So I don't intend to go into the details of the numbers here, but I would rather like to discuss on the recommendations. Although we found that, because this is the first time we implemented this flip debate approach, although to a certain extent we thought that this flip debate had succeeded in encouraging the students to participate in argumentative activity, but of course there are still limitations to it. One that I can safely share with you is in terms of the employing this methodology, it really requires not only the students' readiness, but more importantly, the instructor's readiness to use debate as an approach in teaching methodology. And that can be a bit challenging if you have a team of teachers who have a very, I would say, different background and different skills as well as far as debate is concerned. So to minimize the differences between instructors is also quite a challenge. So this is where what we do to minimize that differences is that on a weekly basis, even among the instructors, we would have a seminar to coach the instructors who are less experienced in debate to be more familiar with how do you assess the debate and how do you see the debate so as to be able to assess the strengths and the weaknesses of the argumentations provided by the students throughout the debate. I guess that will be all my sharing for today. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mizan. We now have Maulida, Izzattul, Amin from Darussalam, Gontor University, Indonesia. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished scholars, fellow researchers, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to present at second international conference on debate and dialogue in Doha, Qatar. And if may I share a brief story, 10 years ago, my teachers follow Qatar debate. And as a student, I write on my notebook that someday I will go to Qatar. And that dream now, today, comes true. May Allah grant mercy and blessings to leaders and people of Qatar. My name is Maulida, and today I will present a paper on a holistic debate curriculum in Indonesia, a case study of Pondok Modern Darussalam Gontor. As we know, Islamic education is often challenged by the need to balance tradition with modernity. And Gontor, an Islamic boarding school in Indonesia, offers a compelling model of how debate conducted in both Arabic and English language can serve not only as a language tool, but also as a means to develop leadership, critical thinking, and moral values. Pondok Modern Darussalam Gontor is an Islamic boarding school in Indonesia that integrates Islamic values with modern education. A key innovation in its curriculum is the use of debate in Arabic and English as a learning tool to develop critical thinking, rhetorical skills, leadership, and moral values. Using qualitative method, including interviews, observations, and curriculum analysis, the study explores how debate serves as a holistic educational tool at Gontor. And the findings highlight Gontor's success in creating balanced education with alumni actively mentoring debate across the country. Why I choose a case study? Because it's to provide an in-depth exploration of how debate is structured. Now, let me introduce the institution at the heart of the study, Pondok Modern Darussalam Gontor. Gontor was established in 1626 by three visionary brothers, Ahmad Sahal, Zainuddin Fanani, and Imam Zarkashi. Over the years, it has grown into the one of Indonesia's most influential education institution. In the landscape of Islamic education, Gontor is recognized for offering a holistic model of a pesantren that combine 100% Islamic education and 100% general and modern education. And in addition to its academic excellence, what truly distinguishes Pondok Modern Darussalam Gontor is its unique endowment model. Gontor has been officially endowed as a wakaf since 1958, not only for the benefit of the Indonesian Muslim community, but also for the global ummah. However, at Gontor, what is endowed goes far beyond just land and its buildings. The endowment includes its educational system, its foundational values, and even the people who devote their lives into its mission. These dedicated individuals are known as wakaf individuals, those who have committed themselves full to the cause of Islamic education. For non-native speakers like me, learning language is mandatory before learning debate practice. And from the beginning, Gontor emphasized Arabic and English as central to its educational philosophy. For non-native speakers, Gontor used the direct method supported by an immersive environment where every part of the system reinforced language habituation. Arabic is the language of the Quran and Islamic heritage, while English connects students to the modern world. All of subjects are delivered in English and Arabic, ranging from Islamic sciences like tafsir, hadith, fiqh, and etc., to modern sciences like math, biology, physics, and psychology. Interestingly, beyond the classroom, students engage in extracurricular activities like speech contests, Princess and Queen of Language, language camps, bulletin writing, daily conversation, language theater, and all of which contribute to a strong linguistic atmosphere. Like in this picture, there is speech competition, Princess and Queen of Language. We have also drama contest and also language theater and another program. At Pondok Modern Darussalam Gontor also we have language section. And the language program are scheduled daily, weekly, monthly, and also annually, with a robust structure involving halakoh, debate, bulletins, camps, and etc. to sharpen communication skills in both languages. Now about holistic debate curriculum. At Gontor, debate is more than just intellectual exercise. It is character building tool that instill Islamic values such as honesty, etiquette in disagreement, and also respect for opponents. Debate also integrate into the formal curriculum, supported by subjects like manthiq, balaghah, and etc. And also to sharpen critical thinking, Gontor used texts like Ibn Rushd, Bidayatul Mujtahid wa Nihayatul Muqtasid, teach also Al-Adyan, which explores world religions. This subject trains students in ijtihad, independent reasoning, encouraging them to question, analyze, and avoid rigid dogmatism and blind imitation. In essence, debate at Gontor is both intellectual and spiritual, forming students ready for the challenges of the modern world with deep root in Islamic ethics. The debate learning process at Gontor consists of several structured stages. The first is motion selection. The next stage is data collection, so argument development, language preparation, and also practice and refinement. This slide outlines the structured activities that support the implementation of the debate curriculum at Gontor. These activities are categorized into 4 levels: daily, weekly, monthly, and also annual program. For daily programs, include enriching Arabic and English debate vocabulary and updating argumentation materials to ensure students are always working with relevant content. At weekly programs, focus on regular training sessions held every Thursday and Sunday evening. Debate news and contemporary issues are posted on bulletin board, and it will be stimulated for next discussion. weekly evaluation, and debate club greetings further enhance student engagement and skill development. For monthly programs, it involves reviewing debate notebook, touring different section for the campus. Touring different section of the campus for inspiration, and watching videos of international debate to broaden their perspective. And for annual program, including organizing a debate super camp, hosting a national seminar on debate, and also sending student delegation to national and international tournament. The structured activities demonstrate that debate at Gontor is not just an extracurricular activities, but also a core educational strategy that is carefully planned and continuously developed throughout the year. And it's not difficult for the student to respond some current issues, because students at Gontor are trained to stay updated on current issues both locally and globally. They are assigned responsibilities in various sectors: education, health, agriculture, media, arts, and more, that deepen their understanding and enrich their argument. May I play some video? I'm sorry. You can imagine how Gontor at Indonesia is. They live in dormitories 24 hours in a day, experiencing a rigorous but nurturing life rhythm that build discipline, teamwork, and leadership. Qualities essential for a successful debater and future leader. We can play it faster. Oh, okay. Okay. We continue to the next slide. In this slide, we can see how Gontor's influence goes far beyond the school kids. The alumni of Gontor play a major role in spreading the values and methodology of debate education throughout various institutions in Indonesia. Many of them have become debate mentors not only in pesantren but also in public and private schools as well as universities. And this picture shows Gontor alumni and students continue to represent Indonesia in international debate competition. This reflects the success of a system that combines traditional Islamic values with modern education strategies. To close this presentation, I would like to offer 3 key recommendations. First, Gontor's debate curriculum shows that traditional Islamic boarding schools can successfully adopt modern methods without compromising religious identity. Second, I recommend that other Islamic schools consider implementing structured debate programs that should not only focus on language skill, but also connect with religious education, moral training, and also leadership development. Finally, further research could expand the study by exploring other pesantren model, comparing outcomes, and examining the long-term impact of debate on alumni performance. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, I sincerely thank you for your time and attention throughout this humble presentation. If there are any question and suggestion, it'd be more than happy to engage in further discussion. But who will answer your question is my co-author, which also my lecturer and my husband. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Maulida. Our last speaker is Muhammed Afthab from Darul Huda Islamic University. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm excited to share my research on how the Arabic debate programs enhance language skills at Darul Huda Islamic University, Kerala, India. Established in 1986 as an academy that promoted the integrated knowledge, upgraded as an Islamic university in 2009, it's an Islamic institution for the training of the Islamic scholars in India. It offers a 12 years course from secondary, including both undergraduate and postgraduate programs. So the learning Arabic is highly given the importance and significance in the Darul Huda Islamic University. One of the proposed goal of Darul Huda is Ta'ribul Jamia, the Arabization of the university. Along with Arabic, there are also 3 languages: English, then Urdu, then Malayalam, the mother tongue of Kerala people. So among these languages, Arabic is given an immense importance. And then here, this study investigates how Arabic debate programs enhance language skills at Darul Huda. So my study here, it used mixed methods approach. It used quantitative and qualitative methodology. And the participants who were in this study, they were grouped into 3 levels based on their participation and excellence. And active debaters showed significant improvement in Arabic proficiency, public speaking, and critical thinking. Debate forces students to think and respond in Arabic dynamically, proving it's not just about memorization. And the study recommends integrating debate into Arabic curricula for experiential and skill-based learning. But what underpins these findings? So, this research rests on 2 powerful theories. The first one is constructivism. It says that we learn through active social engagement. Debate does exactly this. Students don't just memorize Arabic only, and then they construct knowledge together through argumentization, through conversation. And according to the constructivist theorist, knowledge is a network that learners actively construct based on the experiences. This leads to that the learner is not a blank sheet to be filled with information, but to actively construct knowledge. And the second one is Swin's high output hypothesis. Being forced to produce language drives deeper learning than passive study. Debate provides both the social context and pressure needed for real Arabic acquisition. Meryl Sain, a Canadian applied linguist, focused on second language acquisition. The observation of her about French immersion school students led her to understand that those students, they didn't study language very correctly. They cannot communicate in the English language they study. in the learning of their second language. So this led her to the output hypothesis. This posited that the comprehensive input on its own is not enough for language learning. It proposes that through producing language, either spoken or written, language acquisition may occur. So here, the study, as we said, employed both quantitative and qualitative data. So the study surveyed 16 students across 3 levels: novice, intermediate, and advanced, based on the experience and the advancements. This sample size was determined based on the feasibility of conducting in-depth interviews and observations within the given time. And also, it employed in-depth interviews and observations. So this dual approach gave us both numbers and human stories from beginners with less than a year of debate to veterans with over 3 years of experience. So here the novice are who has experience below 1 year, and the next level is then 2 up to 3, and the next level is after who completed 3 years in the debate field. So when we come into the research results, so through the surveys and interviews, we found that debate participation significantly improved all 4 core Arabic language skills: speaking, listening, writing, and reading, along with foundational skills like grammar and vocabulary. Each skill improved through the distinct debate-driven methods. Debate at Darul Huda took off in 2017 when students first competed in Qatar Debates International Championship. Since then, teams have participated in 2017. From Kerala, from the state Kerala in India, the Darul Huda was the first team to participate in the International Debate Championship in 2017. Before that, there were not a thing like an established Arabic debate in Kerala. And after that, in 2019, there were a Malaysian Open debate, and also in 2020, first Asian Championship also in Malaysia, and later in 2022, 6th International Championship Istanbul. So in all these, the students from Darul Huda took participation, and students called these experiences as milestones in their career. They interacted with native speakers, built global networks, and gained real-world Arabic immersion. This also led the students into establishment of Darul Huda Debate Club, which later introduced many programs related Arabic debates in Kerala, also among the students of university. So let's break down to the skill by skill development impact. So when we come into the vocabulary and grammar, 100% of the participants expanded their vocabulary learning, and they learned 15 to 20 words per debate program. When they are given a topic, they try to they try to think about that topic, and also when they think more, they need some vocabulary to express their thoughts. So the debate programs, the Arabic debate programs, each program it led to learning of 15 to 20 words per program. And it said that advanced debaters, they retained 3 times more words than beginners. And also grammar improved by 43.8 on average, with final year students reaching 67 improvement. The participants said that when they speak and when they write the content and when they speak during the debate programs, they highly focused to make their language perfect and without any grammatical mistakes. So this leads them to improve their grammar. Also, then the next one is speaking and listening. 80% of the participants achieved measurable fluency gains, and also the final level debaters, they had an impact of 40% by reducing the pauses, and 68.8 better understood rapid Arabic, especially those after hearing diverse accents in competition and also through the online platforms like YouTube, like that. And the next one is writing skills. 68.8 also percent demonstrated improvement in argument structuring, and there is a limitation that only 31.2 showed progress in grammatical writing. And also, the debate preparation contributed most to writing gains. As we said, before the debate competition starts, the topics are given, and in those preparation time, they take some notes. Those taking notes helps the students who participated in the programs develop their writing skills. And also, the next one is feedback effectiveness. 81.3% of students said that jury feedback was their number one learning tool, because when they get feedback from the juries, it will definitely help them, motivate them to learn the language. Also, error correction speed increased by 40% after they got feedback, and the grammar mistakes decreased by 30% across subsequent debates. So the getting feedbacks helped the contestants, the competitors, learn the language and communicate language, especially in speaking, also in writing. And after the listening is also one of the important part of the language learning. After the students participated in the debate programs, 68.8% said that they had improvement in understanding and also in rapid Arabic understanding of rapid Arabic speech, and also as the recognition of regional accents through international competitions like that. And these debate programs also helped students improve their critical thinking. 62.5% of debaters improved argument analysis skills. So here, after the research, here are some clear actions. The study proved that the participation in the Arabic debate programs and also being part of the Arabic debate programs, it helps really learn the Arabic language. So the teachers should make debate a weekly classroom activity, not just an annual or monthly or like that. No, not a special event, but the teachers should take it as a weekly classroom activity. And then also the institutions must invest in proper training, possibly through Qatar debates expertise. And also we need longitudinal studies across madrasas and educational institutions. So the training for debate and the including of debate programs in the curricula, it will immensely help the students develop their linguistic skills, their communication, their writing, and those. When we move debate from the periphery to the center of Arabic education, we don't just teach the language, we create thinkers and leaders. This is also just about better Arabic speakers. It's about building confident communicators for our global community. So thank you for having me here. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, can you raise your hand if you have any questions for our speakers? We've got a couple over here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to ask the question. My question is with Ma'am Mizan. Your paper really caught my attention since I am a teacher. So I want to use this flip debate methodology in my classroom. So as you already mentioned that this is especially for the beginners. So my question is, what do you think is the age group of the learners on which we can apply this methodology? This is one of the questions. And the second question is, what assessment tools do we use to assess the performance of the learners with this approach? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the question. To respond to the first one, I think in terms of the age group, given the nature of this flip debate, which is very basic in nature, and to a certain extent very structured, because we have already identified how the students should argue using the Tolman model of argumentation, I think that can even go down to the school levels. Like the group of students that I'm teaching, they are doing foundation, so they are the level after the high school, but before they proceed to the undergraduate studies. That's my students. And I don't think that there's any problem if you were to implement the same for the school students, especially if you're teaching the high school students. In terms of the assessment tool, for us, what we did is that they are being assessed on two aspects. One is the speaking ability itself, and we have a set of rubrics, the items that the instructors have to look at in giving the score. And the second component of the assessment is the debate notes itself. So based on the debate notes, we assign scores. In which in each element of the debate notes, we already assign the scores. Say, for example, 1 mark for the claim made, 1 mark for the warrant, 1 mark for the evidence, and so on and so forth. So for the debate notes, in total there are 10 marks, and for the speech itself, also 10 marks. Combining together, they will get the score of 20. However, for the debate notes, it's actually a pair marks that we give. So both students will get the same score. But for the speech mark, that is marked individually, depending on how they delivered. Yeah. Thank you.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. I'm very happy to see that the potential of debating has been recognized. First, it was an American thing. Later, it entered European countries, and now it has expanded to other countries. That's really amazing and great. And the comment I have of the methodology of the studies, most of you, or all of you folks actually, when it comes to eliciting data on surveys and questionnaires, probably something for the future, it would be better if you elicit some spoken texts and written text to analyze them and to perform some text analysis just to be accurate about the aspects that students have developed on. Yes, that's my point.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions for our speakers? Yeah, yeah.
So, ma'am, thank you so much for clearing my doubts. One more thing is that there are some students in the classroom who are not interested in talking or participating in. Every classroom has almost 30% of the students, like as per my experience. What about them with this flip debate approach? How do we, I can understand that we can encourage them time and time again to participate, but as far as the assessment is concerned, so I guess they will be less, successful in gaining the high marks for the assessment. So what is your take on that? Thank you.
In the set of students that I had an experience with, especially we have this last item in our survey question asking whether you would like to participate again in this activity. We did have a response where the student answered definitely no. Because we gave them a Likert scale of 1 to 4, 1 with very unlikely. So there were 2 or 3, I can't remember the exact number, but there were 2 or 3 number of students who responded that. And we believe that this is indicative that there are students who don't like debate at all and do not want to experience it anymore. But the majority of them, after experiencing it, somehow gave a very positive responses, looking forward to participate further. But just if I can briefly respond to the comment by our audience just now, I do agree that in terms of the methodology of looking at the effectiveness of this debate in education, I think it's also very important for us to have a qualitative study, which I hope that in the future I can embark on this qualitative study, especially to conduct an interview to the students who experienced it and see how through the interview and the analysis of the interview responses would give us deeper understanding of how we can improve debate in education and how that actually impacted the process of knowledge construction particularly. I'm not sure whether I answered your question.
Okay. Another question? Okay, we can take one more question. I believe there's...
Thank you for giving me opportunity again. My next question is with Mr. Mohammed Hamdan. And the question is, what do you think that most of the times in debate competitions, we have to announce the winner and the one who loses the debate. So what do you think, shouldn't we move from this particular approach to the approach of searching for the truth rather than winning or losing? So as you mentioned, the Islamic, some Islamic terms as well. So what do you think in Islamic ideology, the munazara, concept of munazara or debate is, I don't think it's winning or losing. I think it is a matter of exploring the truth and the reality. So what do you think about it?
I think my actually it's that I think the debate and discussion is to engage students in the classroom. Nowadays in my hometown I said that they are not engaging. Students are not engaging, just copying notes. Just teachers are lecturing. So I think we are not looking that who is the winner and who is the loser, but we are encourage students to engage in classroom and to discuss, and I think it will improve their critical thinking and arguing skills and analyzing skill. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we could have time for one more question if there are any. Yeah.
Thank you. Two points. One is a question, I suppose, about the zigzag format. Did you find any drawbacks of the zigzag format, like compared to, because I know you have experience in doing both. So in terms of the comparison, did you find any like limitations or unique advantages that you didn't initially perhaps expect to see in the zigzag format is my first question. And the second is, I just wanted to address the comment there about competitive debating versus Islamic debating. I would suggest not to pit them against each other. I think we would absolutely love, debates where people are trying to find the truth, using it as a tool for engagement rather than wins and losses in classrooms. But as an educator who deals with kids, who are 12 years, 13 years old, and if you want to motivate them to spend hundreds of hours in the classroom doing this extracurricular activity, you need them to have medals and trophies and something they can work towards to motivate them. So I think we should not, try and do this versus that, but rather both collaboratively. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, thank you for the question, Mubarak. If we look at the zigzag format that we have, right, the role of a speaker it seems quite a lot, especially to those who have never experienced debating, what more to be in a competition. I think that zigzag works very well if you're well trained and if you have already very accustomed to argumentation. But because we are addressing these 200 students who the majority of them had never debated before. So having to do all at once could be very intimidating and demotivating. So this is the factor that we wanted to address by introducing the flip debate, and in which each speaker has a very specific one role only. Either you are delivering a constructive argumentation or you are delivering a rebuttal argumentation, with, of course, an addition that everyone has to accept the points of information, because we really want them to engage, not just, a one-way thinking that I'm giving all my best. You really have to respond to questions, and this, and I think the element of points of information in a debate exercise is a very important element that allows, number one, for opening for differences of opinion to be addressed in the speech. Because otherwise you might think that what you're saying is all correct and no one is going to dispute it. And you don't have to deal with that immediately. So that's why we insisted that POI has to be existed at least once. If you can take more than one, that would be good. But given the 3 minutes of duration that we give for them to finish the speech, that's having one POI is already a lot for them to do. Yeah.
We could actually take time if we do have another question. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My question is for the first presenter. How do we manage the teaching with debate method for the various departments? Because each department has the special characteristic of a subject. Can we use the method teaching by the debate in all subject of teaching and also in all departments? Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think each subject have an objective vision. When we are introducing this in literature subject, when we are introducing debate in English, it will improve our language skills. And when you are introducing in such as ilmul kalam or manthiq, it will increase our logical skills and reasoning skills. So I think we can implement debate or discussion method in every subject, and every subject have a vision. So when we are introducing in literature, it will improve our communication skills and language skills. When you are introducing it such logic subjects or reasoning subjects, it will increase our analyzing skill. We can question anything, we can ask anything without fear. So I think as my teacher, English teacher, he has implemented debate in English class at I think a discussion model, group discussion. He implemented a group discussion model at last 15 minutes of a class to improve our language skills. So I think we can introduce in all subjects. Okay, thank you.
We have another question.
السلام عليكم. شكرا لجميع المقدمين يعني على هذه الجهود الرائعة. فقط موضوع تطبيق المناظرة داخل الصف، هل هناك مهارة معينة من مهارات اللغة الأربعة مرشحة لتطبيق المناظرة بشكل أفضل؟ يعني هل القراءة أو الكتابة أو الاستماع أو التحدث؟ هذه واحدة. النقطة الثانية، الصف الدراسي فيه 30 طالب، يعني هنا متوسط الطلاب 30 طالب. كيف نستطيع أن ندير الحصة الدراسية ب30 طالب؟ فكيف سيكون شكل المناظرة؟ هل ستطرح قضية واحدة أو عدة قضايا ونقسم الصف إلى مجموعات؟ نريد يعني إبراز هذه النقطة حتى نستفيد من المناظرات في الحصة الدراسية، خاصة حصة اللغة العربية. شكرا.
Hello. The question is the 4 basic language skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Is any one of them more preferable when it comes to implementing the debate into the classroom? The second, which is more appropriate? If you have, like here in Qatar, the average number of students about 30 per class, what is the most recommended approach to cast one motion, one statement, and divide the class into 2 groups to debate on, or to offer a number of statements or motions and also divide the class into different groups to debate on?
Maybe I can respond to the first question first, regarding the skills required. Through my almost 20 years of experience in debate, whether in competition or as an educator, I think all 4 are required. It's not, qualified from one and another. In order for you to be able to debate, first and foremost, you need to be able to listen carefully. You need to listen in order for you to respond. And in order for you to respond well, you need to have that speaking ability. And therefore, I don't think it can be separated. If you want to become an effective speaker, more so if you're talking about becoming an effective persuasive speaker. As far as the second question is concerned, in implementing debate, depending on how you design your lesson plan, I think even with the large number of 30 students, and also depending on the goal that you set in using debate as a tool for the teaching and learning, I think the number would not become a major hindering factor. Like in my case, one of the reasons why, number one, we adopted and adapted the British parliamentary, where in one debate session we have at least 8 debaters debating and participating in the debate session, is because we want to have more number of students participate in one session. Like in my class, I have about 26 students. That requires me to have at least 3 debate sessions. Is that doable in a class of 2 hours? It is, and that's why we had significantly reduced the speaking time. Instead of normal 5 to 7 minutes, you reduce it only to 3 minutes, with the focus of getting them to be able to construct the argument. So it also depends on the whole objective that you set. Like for us, we want to achieve this very simple goal of everyone should be able to deliver an argumentation. Is 3 minutes enough? The answer is yes. Because within that 3 minutes, it's more than enough for you to deliver one constructive argument or even one rebuttal argument in that 3 minutes, following that structure of Toulmin models that I mentioned with the exclusion of qualifier element. So because why? Because in my opinion, without the qualifier element in the Toulmin models argumentation, it's still enough for you to construct a decent argument. But of course, this depends on who your audience are. In my case, because the audience are very, very beginner level, so I think that was very sufficient for us to have the very basic of the Toulmin argumentation delivered in 3 minutes, and that could be done within that 2 hours.
Thank you. May I respond? هل ممكن أن أتكلم بالعربية يا سيدي؟ من عندي أنا فإن هذه المهارة الأربعة مهمة. لماذا؟ كيف نحن نستطيع أن نتكلم بغير القراءة؟ وكيف نحن نستطيع أن نتكلم بغير الاستماع؟ وأيضا هناك مهارة الكتابة، والمراد بمهارة الكتابة أيضا كيف نكتب الآراء، الحجج والبراهين منظما منطقيا. حتى لو مثلا في مسابقة نحن نستطيع أن نقسم أين الحجج للمتكلمة الأولى والثانية والثالثة وما أشبه ذلك. وفي معهدنا للناطقين بغير العربية والإنجليزية لأول مرة يعني نحن نعمل ماذا؟ الامتحانات لهذه 30 طالبة. ماذا القصد منه؟ يعني نحن نعلم القدرة من كل فرد. بعد ذلك كونا فرق مثلا ل3 أنفار حتى نحن أيضا نعين هي كالمتكلمة الأولى والثانية والثالثة، لأن الواجبة لهذه المتكلمة الثلاثة متفرقة. بل في بعض الأحيان نحن نبادل هذه الفرقة حتى تتعود كل فرد أن تكون هي أو أن يكون هو متكلم الأولى والثانية والثالثة وما أشبه ذلك. والمهم أيضا في معهدنا المناظرة ليست هي الغاية، وجمع الكؤوس أيضا ليس الغاية. المناظرة هي الوسيلة والآلة لأي شيء، للتعويد على التفكير المنطق السليم، لتهذيب النفوس، وأيضا غايتنا يعني في المعهد التربية. وكلها إذ ماذا رجعنا إلى النظرية الإسلامية والدين، فطبعا كلها عبادة إحياء لكلمات الله. وشكرا.
Yes, please join me in thanking all of our speakers. Thank you for joining this discussion on the impact of debate on enhancing critical thinking and language learning. Thank you all.